I helped this strength and mobility coach go from making $1,000 a month to just 2 months later hitting his biggest month ever at $5,000. And we were able to achieve this without doing any cold outreach, huge ad spends, or a big team. And in this video I'm going to break down the exact acquisition system we used to help Connor scale. But first, a little bit more about me for those who don't know. So I started my agency helping online fitness coaches scale a year ago after shutting down a 5-figure business, and now just 12 months later I'm able to travel the world to meet my amazing clients in person, and I'm building a business that I genuinely feel proud of. And here are just some pictures from my journey. But this video is not about me, it's about Connor. So let's start by talking about his situation before, 3 to 4 months ago. So at this point, he was only making $1,000 a month, he had no predictable acquisition system in place, he was struggling to build trust, and he was only relying on a DM funnel. And this is Connor now. He's making around $4,000 to $5,000 a month, he have a predictable client acquisition system in place, and he knows how to build real trust and is working with his dream clients. And this was all possible using something that I call the flow system. And this is the exact system that we implement into all of our clients' businesses to help them scale. So let me just break it down for you real quick so you actually have an understanding of it. So first of all, we have attract, which is like the first step of it. Here we focus on generate consistent attention from your ideal clients. The nurture, turn strangers into people who trust you enough to buy. Convert, turn interested prospects into paying clients. Onboard and make an unforgettable first impression with a world-class onboarding. Deliver results so good that people beg to work with you. And amplify, use the results you get from your clients to create more growth. So let's start by talking about the first step of the flow system, which is attract. And the goal with attract is to just attract new eyeballs and get more leads coming in. And the way we do this is by posting short form organic content on Instagram and running paid ads. But let's start by talking about the content. So before we started working together, Connor was really good at creating content. He was good at creating hooks. He knew how to go viral as well. But there was still a lot of improvements that we had to make. First of all, he didn't really know how to build trust. He was attracting the wrong audience. He was only attracting young athletes who didn't really have much money to invest, and that's not something you want, especially if you're selling a mid or high ticket coaching offer as Connor do right now. So the first thing we implemented was the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel module for more clarity, so you actually knew what to post. And for those who don't know how that works, top of funnel is where you're focusing on posting videos that are generating new eyeballs, where you only focus on getting new attention. And then we have the middle of funnel content here, and the goal with that is to nurture people. And then lastly, we have bottom of funnel content, where you focus on building real trust and actually converting your audience. And then we also created a posting schedule that he could follow consistently every single week. So right now he's posting 7 reels every single week. We are striving for more volume now to help him scale even more, but this is basically how it looks like at the moment. So Monday we post grab attention videos. Wednesday grab attention, that is basically top of funnel videos. Tuesday belief shifting storytelling videos, middle of funnel. Wednesday belief shifting storytelling video, middle of funnel. Thursday proof, which is bottom of funnel, and the list goes on. And I always tell my clients to post more than this, and that's exactly what Connor do sometimes, but the goal now is to make him post even more consistently, because the more you post, the better. That's just how it works. So this was like the 2 main things that we implemented into Connor's short form content. Of course, there was much more than this. We got clear on his ICP. He now understands how to create content that is handling objections. He understands his audience biggest misconceptions and limiting beliefs, etc. So this was just 2 small things that we implemented, but these 2 things right here made a huge difference. And if we scroll down here, we have paid ads. And the way you should think about marketing is that you should not just do paid ads or organic content. Instead, they should work together. because that's the most optimal way to do it. And the reason to why I want to run paid ads is because it is so much more consistent. It is so much more predictable. And we created this to create more predictable cash flow. And the reason to why you want to use the organic content is to build trust and build a real brand. So you can't just do one of these two things. You have to do both if you're looking to scale to the bigger numbers. And the way we do this is by running something called profile listing ads. And when I say profile listing ads, that is basically ads where you post a video that looks like a normal organic content video, but the goal with that video, of course, it's structured in a very detailed way, but the goal with it is to make people get your profile and start following you. And then when people start following, the setters start reaching out to them and start new conversations. So this is like the two main ways that we are getting attention. So short form organic and paid ads. And then if we move forward, we have the nurturing stage of this funnel. And I would say this is one of the most important ones, especially now when the all-time trust is at an all-time low. And if you don't understand how to nurture your audience and build real trust, you will be left behind, and it's going to be really hard for you to book calls and close deals. And this is also something he was struggling with, because before we started working, he had no nurturing system. He was only relying on short form Instagram content, and that is not something you want. So what we firstly implemented was long form organic content. And when I say long form, that is basically YouTube videos, because YouTube is by far one of the only platforms out there that actually allows you to really nurture, build up real trust, etc., and allows you to spend real time with the viewer. And Google did a research on this as well. They came to the conclusion that people have to spend over 7 hours watching your content before someone is ready to buy. And it's really hard to build up all those hours from short form Instagram content. That's exactly why we are posting on YouTube now, because it's much easier. And on there, he's now focusing on posting proof and belief shifting content to handle objections, remove limiting beliefs, and build real trust. And here are just examples of videos that he has been posting. So first of all, we have why investing into yourself is the key to building your dream physique, whatever. And this video is here to remove the investing into yourself limiting belief. Then we have 2 client interviews here to build up more trust and nurture his audience and get people to actually book a call. And first of all, and then we have his like YouTube VSL. And when I say YouTube VSL, that is basically a video where you, for example, break down your story and your unique way of doing things, your unique method, and some proof as well. And then by the end of it, you have a clear call to action. So these are like the 4 main videos that we have been posting so far. Of course, more videos are coming up soon. He's posting once per week. And the way we understand his audience objections and their biggest limiting beliefs, we use a feedback form and record all the sales calls to do that. Because you can't just guess here. You need to know these kind of things, because it's different from person to person. So let's start by talking about the feedback form. So a feedback form is something that we implement into all of our clients' onboarding, and it's basically a form where you ask questions such as, what made you decide to work with me instead of someone else? How long did it take for you to decide to start working with me? What was your biggest hesitation before joining? What was your biggest bottleneck holding you back? What finally pushed you to book a call? What was your biggest objections? And the list goes on. And the reason to why you want to ask those questions is because that's where you get your best data. Because from that you will understand their biggest objections, limiting beliefs, and also why they choose you, so you can do more of what people actually like. And then also create content that is handling those objections. And then we had the sales calls here. And the reason why it's so important to record these sales calls and use AI to come up with ideas from those sales calls later on is because that is where people talk about their biggest pains. That's where they talk about their biggest problems. And then we create content around that, so that Connor don't have to go on sales call sitting there handling thousands of objections, because that's not what you want. The goal is to be able to go on sales calls, close someone without getting a single objections. That is how it should be. And in order to get there, you need to, first of all, have all of these things super dialed in. And you should know everything about your target audience. And then what we always do is that from these kind of things, we create a costume content ideas plan. But so the long form YouTube videos is like the first way we nurture people. Then we have a second way as well, which is an email automation, or getting people into his email list. So in his videos, short form content, and in his paid ads, he's normal, like in most of his videos, like promoting people to comment a specific word for a specific resource, and he's getting tons of people to comment. And what happens then is that ManyChat, which is a platform that you can connect to your Instagram, is sending them out a message, say something like click here to get access to the free resource. Then when people click on that in the DMs, they get to this sign up page right here. You have like multiple pages like this for different resources, where people sign up to get access to a free lead magnet or a free YouTube video. YouTube videos are like the main thing we are promoting through this. And what happens then is that, first of all, people join his email list, and they also get into his email automation. And in that email automation, they will automatically start receiving emails that is nurturing, showing proof, etc. Then what he's also doing is that whenever he's posting a YouTube video, he's always sharing that to his email list to nurture people over time, because that's what's going to make people buy. And it's also a great way to build up your email list, because if something would happen to your Instagram account, let's say that your IG would get banned, then you would still have your email list to rely on and make money from that. You would not have to start from zero again. So every person who signs up for a lead magnet is added to our email list and starts receiving mails. And this is super important as well. You don't just want to rely on Instagram. You need more things to help to back it up. Really important. So that was the nurturing stage. Then if we move forward here, we have convert, where we're just focusing on getting someone from a viewer into a buyer. So the first way we do this is by having a DM setter, and that is something we have helped Connor hire, a commission-based appointment setter that is handling all his DMs and is booking all the calls for him, because that is just one of the tasks that you don't want to do yourself, that you can let someone else do for you instead. And then he can put all of that time and effort that he was putting into his DMs before into something else that is actually pushing the business forward. So the setter is reaching out to all the new followers, and he's starting conversations and booking calls for him. And he's also doing all the follow-ups, etc. And this is something I definitely recommend you as a coach to have, because it's going to help you out so much, but only if you are at a specific stage with your business. Then we also have a VSL landing page linked on his Instagram. We have it linked in every single YouTube video, in his email list, like literally everywhere we have this VSL landing page. So basically how that works is that you drive the traffic from your Instagram, YouTube to a landing page where they watch a VSL that builds trust and converts them into leads. So this is basically how it looks like. And in this video here, he talks a little bit more about his story, why he started helping people, his unique method, like how he actually helps people get to where they want to be from point A to point B. Talks about client success stories, and also have a clear call to action by the end of it. And then when people click on book a free strategy call, as you can see here below, what's going to happen then is that people get to a pre-booking page. And this is also another way to nurture them even more and making sure that when they actually show up on the call, they're going to buy because they have so much more trust in him. So what's going to happen is that they get to this page here, a second page where they book their call, and under that they will also find a bunch of proof of clients. On that page he just shows a bunch of video testimonials, picture testimonials before and afters, so that when someone goes to the actual call, they are super pre-sold already. And that is what you want. And then lastly, we have weekly story sequences. This is like the third way that we are converting people in. And when I say story sequences, that's basically a 3 to 7 long slide sequence that you post on your Instagram story, breaking down a problem, telling a story, or showcasing proof. And here's an example of how it can be structured, and this is the exact structure my clients are using. So first of all, what you want to start with when you're doing a story sequence is by starting with a hook, something that makes people stay to actually watch it. Pain point, talk about the specific pain point, name the exact problem and make them feel understood before anything else. Desired outcome, show what is possible, paint a picture of where they want to be. Method: briefly introduce how you or your system solve it. Do not over-explain. Authority: back it up by showing results of clients. And clear CTA. And when I say clear CTA, or call to action as most people say, I don't just recommend you to like drive that, say, comment that specific word to work with me, or click the link below to book a call or something, because that doesn't really work as well as it did before. Sometimes you should do it, but not too often. What I recommend you to do instead is promoting free resources here as well. So let's say you have been posting a YouTube video. What you want to do is creating a story sequence around that YouTube video, talking about that specific problem, and then by the end of it, you're telling people to DM you a specific word or respond to the story to receive it for completely free. And the reason why this is so powerful is because when someone is actually reaching out to you from that, it means that they have a problem. Otherwise, they wouldn't want the YouTube video. So then you can start a conversation around that, start asking them questions. And so it is really, really powerful to do that. And it doesn't just have to be a YouTube, it can be something else, like a free school community or something. But these are like the three main ways that we are converting his audience in. But of course, most of the conversion happens in the DMs. That's just how it is. And that's why it is so powerful to have a DM setter. And then once someone has been closed on the sales call, they will receive an onboarding. So for all of our clients, what we always do is building up a custom onboarding for them. And the reason to why we are doing this is because having a world-class onboarding is super important, because you want to make sure that they get a good first impression, and you want the viewer to feel like the investment was actually worth it. You want to build instant trust, and the only way to do that is by firstly having a world-class onboarding, as I just said. And here is just like a sneak peek on how it actually looks like. So in the beginning of it, we have like a welcome video to hype them up, to build more trust and talk about the next steps and just welcome them in. Then people add him on WhatsApp here, and then we have like the onboarding form, feedback form here as well. I talked about the feedback form earlier in this video, and it's super important that you have that dialed in. And then you're in, like, once people have been filling all of this out, and then it looks like this. So that's the kind of onboarding you want. That is the, like, when someone is just seeing that, the trust is going to be up here. And when it comes to Connor here, before we started working together, he was only having a simple form that he was sending out, and he was doing everything manually. But this onboarding here, it saves him time, and it looks 10 times more professional. And once people have been onboarding, it's just time for him to deliver results. And this is also something that we help our clients with, because it's super important that you have what is it called, a scalable delivery system. And the way we create this is by, first of all, having the Notion scaling plan and tracking his LTV. But let's start by talking about the Notion scaling plan. So, and this is more in like the scaling phases of when people are working with me, because the way I work with clients is that we have 4 phases. We have, first of all, building up the offer or refining it. We have the funnel, personal branding, and then lastly, analyze and scale phase. And this is a part of the analyze and scale phase. So what we do is that me and Connor, we go on a call, and on that call, I ask a few questions about his delivery. Questions such as, how does it look like from the moment someone gets on board to the end of the program, duration of the program, average client lifetime value, client retention rate, how many calls per week, do you have any guarantee, which part of your coaching delivery takes the most time, what question do client ask, I can't say that word to be honest, and which part of the delivery system could be automated. And then from that, when we're discussing that, and once he has been answering all these questions, of course I ask following questions. Me and my team, we're creating this scaling plan here. It looks like this, and in that plan we just go over exactly what he has to improve in his delivery and exactly what he has to build out and automate. So that's basically one of the ways to make sure that we're actually like making a more scalable delivery. Then we also have tracking LTV, lifetime value, and the goal is to keep every client for as long as possible. So what we do is that we're literally tracking all this data here. We're tracking all the upsells. all the referrals, the LTV. We're literally tracking every single area of his business, and especially the client journey. Really important. You need to know your numbers, and I wouldn't even call myself a business owner if I didn't understand that. And then we have the last step here, step 6, which is amplify. Use the results that he has to create more. And the first way we do this is by posting proof content. So whenever, for every client that is getting results, he records client interviews and case study breakdowns. And here are just examples, as you can see below. So what he basically did was, first of all, recording 2 client interviews here. And he has, I think, 3 more upcoming, which is really cool, because when, like, the more client interviews you have, the better. And what he did was that he posted that client interview on his YouTube, and in that video he asked a little bit more about their experience, how their life looked before versus now, etc. Then he took clip from those long form videos and turned it into short form content. And that is one of the most effective ways you can do it. And then he's also doing like client breakdowns where he's explaining how a client got from point A to point B. A great way to build trust as well. And then we have tracking data. And most people, like, they don't really value this, to be honest. They think that they know everything already, but they don't. Because for every client that we have implemented this in, like, they have no clue about their data. Like, when I am on a call and ask them, like, about a specific tracking, like about their ads, like, they have no fucking clue. That is exactly why we implemented this into Connor's business as well, because every single client of ours gets their own personal tracking sheet, and it looks something like this. And as you can see here, we're tracking every single area: overview, monthly summary, outreach, follow-up pipeline, client journey, sales, ads, content, social growth, everything. And I would say this was a huge game changer for him, because now he understands exactly what he has to improve, because without this he wouldn't understand that, to be honest. So that's exactly how we were able to help Connor go from making $1,000 a month to now making around 4 to 5K per month with his strength/mobility coaching, using what I call the flow system. And if you're looking to scale up your coaching business as well, there is a link below this video where you can book a free business audit with me. But if you're not interested, still hope you got some great value from this video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.